Okay, let's talk about correlations. A correlation is a relationship between two variables, and we can learn a lot of different things about correlational research. What we don't get from correlational research is a cause and effect understanding. In other words, we can't say that because two variables are correlated that one causes the other. You'll see that a lot of time in the news even. People will say, well, there's a relationship between these two things, so one must cause the other. Unless it's an experiment, you can't say cause and effect. And much of the research that you hear in the world is correlational. So you can always find out how this research was conducted. But correlations can tell us two characteristics about a relationship between two variables: direction and strength. Let's start with direction. If two variables are positively correlated, then that means they are likely to either increase or decrease together. So for example, if the amount of miles I run increases, well, the amount of calories I burn might also increase. So that would be a positive correlation. At the same time, if I decrease the amount of miles I run, I might decrease the amount of calories I burn. So even though they're decreasing, that's still a positive correlation. Positive just means they go in the same direction. As the price of gas rises, so do the number of complaints about gas prices. If that were to happen, we were to find that correlation, that would be positive, only because they're going in the same direction. A correlation is only negative if one variable increases and it makes the likelihood of the other decrease. So if we conduct research and we find that the more caffeine people drink, the less hours of sleep they're likely to get, well, then that would be a negative correlation, only because those two variables are going in the opposite direction. Again, notice you can't tell a cause and effect from that. People could be sleeping less because of the caffeine they're drinking, or they could be drinking more caffeine because they're not sleeping very well. So again, correlations just show us that a relationship exists. It shows us that direction, whether it's positive or negative. We can also tell the strength of a correlation from its coefficient. Now, you rarely, if ever, see perfect correlations in terms of the strength. But what you'll want to know is that the closer a correlational coefficient is to 0, the weaker it is. And that's in spite of whether it's positive or negative. If you see a plus sign, all that means is that's a positive correlation. A negative sign just means it's a negative correlation. In math, you usually think, well, positive is always greater than negative, but don't think that here. Get out of that mindset. The positive or negative just tells you direction. When you're looking at strength, the only thing I want you to think about is how far away is this number from 0. The farther away it is from 0, the stronger it is. So some people will think of it as taking the absolute value of a number, and whichever of those numbers is higher is the stronger one. If you don't know about absolute values, that's okay. All you have to do is just cover up the symbol, cover up that positive or negative, and ask yourself which is the larger number to see the stronger one, and which is the smaller number to see what is the weaker one. Now 0 means there's no correlation, so obviously that's the weakest relationship, that's the weakest correlation. But if I give you 3 numbers, and one is positive 0.15, and the other is negative 0.23, and the other is positive 0.33, the strongest of those is the positive 0.33 because it's farther away from 0. It would still be the strongest even if it was negative 0.33. It's just got to be the farthest away from 0 to be the strongest. I'm repeating myself a little bit here because this is one of the trickier concepts in this particular module. So practice with those questions and really get skilled at knowing not just the direction of a correlational coefficient, but also how to tell its strength.